off-air debrief. So at the beginning of the interview, I will always say, hey, look, once we hit stop records, don't leave. I like to get the feedback from my guest and discuss next step, publication time, and so on. We hit stop record. It's not on the air anymore. It's not live anymore. Here is exactly what I say and how. I first ask for their feedback, like, hey, like, look, John, how was this? And like, oh yeah, it was cool, it was fun. Whatever they say is usually going to be their feedback. So I'm like, okay, what do you mean with this? And you try to get genuine feedback to do better. That's what I try to do. Then I say, for me, that was fantastic. When it's fantastic, of course, I liked what you XYZ, right? Do not make it generic. And then you start discussing next steps. So cool, look, John, next steps. This episode is going to go live in, like it's already live on YouTube. So we're going to send you a link in the next 24 hours. And when it's live on the podcast platforms, we'll also send you an email with all the assets. If you want to use them, use them. If you don't want to use them, don't use them. If you want to name us, name us. If you don't want to name us, don't name us. You make it a bit fun. Okay, cool, super. I will definitely reshare and so on. And here I say, cool, John, how can I help? And then I shut up and I let them talk. And 50% of people will be like evasive and say, oh no, that's all good. Like, thanks a lot for having me on the show and so on. And 50% of people will be like, what is it that you do again? Or, hey, how do you make this work for you? Like, why do you do this? And now you get a free pitch. When people stay evasive, I typically leverage some of the things they mentioned in the podcast. Like, hey, look, so now that we are off the record, tell me a bit more about that thing that you're doing in terms of marketing and branding. So you're only relying on referrals? Oh yeah, that's how we've been growing so far and so on. Oh, okay, cool. But then, like, how are you looking to scale and grow then? I had not really thought about this and so on. Okay, interesting. I don't do my pitch yet. When they ask, hey, what do you do? And like, what is it that you do again? They'll say, I help people like you get clients with podcasts. And I wait for them to ask something. So you don't want to transform that off-air debrief into a sales call. That's not the point. You want to keep it about them and about value. What I do is, based on what they feed me, like, hey, yes, because sometimes, how can I help? They're like, hey, yeah, if you know anybody who needs XYZ, let me know. Sometimes they will talk about how they get business from referral partners, and this is my segue. So after saying, how can I help? I will always follow up with this. Look, John, this was great. I need to run. I have another interview in 15 minutes that I need to prepare for. This is true, by the way. And even if you don't have a core schedule, say, hey, I need to run. I have something planned, but hey, here is what I'd like to do for you. You don't want to transform this into a sales call, and you want to showcase that you're busy as well. So what I say is, there are some people I would like to introduce you to. Like, I've interviewed many people. We're in this space for a while now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put together a list of people that I think could be relevant to you. I will walk you through them, and you tell me who you want an introduction to. Would that help? Most of the people will say yes. And then this is where I gently pitch podcasts. I'm like, look, I have to ask, like, based on everything you've told me, you mentioned a few things. Have you thought about launching a podcast? Like, oh yeah, it was always in the back of my head. And this applies for anything, whatever you're selling. Have you thought of this? Or like, how are you solving that? Or who are you currently working with for your cybersecurity needs, Manoj? Oh, we are not. Oh, you're not? And this is what you follow up. Look, I need to run, but I'm going to put together that list of people. I walk you through them. You tell me who you want an introduction to. And I'd love to understand a bit more about how you do XYZ. And if that's relevant, how we can potentially help. Not how we can help, how we can potentially help. Would it be appropriate to schedule a 30 minutes catch up next week, same day, same time? Because you're leading with value. You're leading with, I'm going to introduce you to some relevant people, and it needs to be true. You need to do that introduction to relevant people. And I'd like to understand a bit more about you, how you do XYZ, and see how it could be relevant for us to potentially help. Same thing, if they're interested, you book a call directly in that call. Super important. The way I usually do it is next week, same day, same time. They will check their calendar. Most of them will say yes. So the ones who don't, I'm like, okay, cool. Look, so what time works for you next week? And you accommodate and you book that call from that call. 83% of people take that follow.
If you run a professional services firms and you are not growing as fast as you'd like, then I'd like to give you a free gift. My team and I have put together the B2B Podcasting Secrets Playbook, which is basically 3 years of my teams and I knowledge, solving branding and lead generation for good for professional services firms. So if this is you, then your business growth is directly linked to the number and the quality of the relationships that you're able to build with actual decision makers, also whilst building reputation and brand. And we got pretty good at helping people like you do exactly that using podcast. So the playbook has 9 sections, from how to even position it, to finding the first guests, how to transform content and guests into clients, all the way up to becoming the number 1 influencer in your space. It includes visuals, videos, text, and templates, and case studies relevant to each and every section. And if you want to go even faster, then on the thank you page, you can book a call directly with my team, and we will look at your firm, see if we can help. And if so, we'll put together a tailored plan for your specific podcast that you can use and implement.